everyone, welcome back. Today I'll be discussing the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which is one of the schemes that's given out by the government to Canadians that are impacted by the virus or have no job right now. And it provides people with $500 every week for 16 weeks, starting from the date of March 16. So the first point to actually be eligible for the CERB is that you have to be a resident of Canada that's at least a minimum of 15 years of age at the time when you apply for the benefit. Now, what does this resident of Canada mean? It doesn't just include citizens, but it also includes permanent residents, international students, anyone who has a refugee status, or anyone who has a work visa in Canada. So over the next few minutes, I'll take you over this CERB in very great detail. So the second point of eligibility to claim the CERB is that the person should have stopped working due to reasons related to COVID-19. Now there's two other alternatives to this eligibility step, which I'll explore further after exploring this one step here. So these reasons could range anywhere. There's a variety of reasons that you could use to claim that have been related to COVID-19, because on the CRA website it's not specifically stated what types of reasons they should be. There's a variety of them, it's not inclusive. So some of these reasons I've stated here from my own definition that could have happened is, one of them is that you could have been laid off from your job. That's a very common thing that's happening right now, so you could claim the CERB. Another point is that you or your family, someone from your family, is self-quarantined because of symptoms from COVID-19. So that, of course, will let you claim this. However, this will only last for the 14 days you are quarantined. If after the 14 days you are, let's say, healthy and you can work again and have the opportunity to work again, then you will not be able to claim this CERB for the next 3 months. So that's one really important reason that you have to consider when claiming this. The third reason is that you are staying home to take care of a child because the daycare centers have been closed down by the government. This is a valid reason. It will last you all 4 months of the claim period, so you don't have to worry about that. Fourth reason is that someone in your family is immunocompromised, or you yourself are immunocompromised. Now this is a really important reason, because let's say you work in a grocery store, let's say where there's a lot of people. If you quit your job because you yourself are immunocompromised, or someone in your family is immunocompromised, then you are not quitting the job voluntarily. That's one really important reason. You are doing it to protect yourself or someone in your family at home. So for this point, it's really important for you to get advice from your medical doctor and get a doctor's note. So if you have something like cancer, or someone in your family has something like liver disease or cancer, then you can get a doctor's note and provide that as proof to the CRA that you are protecting yourself and your family. The fifth reason is that a senior home could have closed down because the government might have closed down senior homes, which you could also claim because you are taking care of a senior at your house. Now, a lot of frequently asked questions is, how long will I be able to claim these types of funds in my scenario? So now I'll go over these and show you how long you can actually claim them for. If you're laid off from a job, as long as you don't find a job, you can keep claiming the CERB until you find a job. If you are self-quarantined or someone in your family is self-quarantined, you can keep claiming it if you have tested positive for COVID-19 or the symptoms continue to worsen. However, after 14 days, after that 14-day period, if the symptoms are gone and you are healthy again and you have the opportunity to work, so let's say your employer calls you back for work, or you're self-employed, then you have to go back to work again. You have to start your business again, because they won't let you claim, the CRA will not let you claim the amount otherwise, because you are voluntarily choosing not to work even though you can. The third reason here is stay home to take care of a child. As long as the daycare center doesn't open, you can keep claiming this amount. So someone may ask, well, what happens if the daycare center opens again and I have the opportunity to put my child back into the center? Well, then I'd advise you to go into your province's regulations about daycare center safety and refer to them and see how you can use those to your advantage, and try to use those to convince the CRA that it will not be safe, or for the safety of my child, to put them in the daycare center. The fourth point here, the immunocompromisation. Now this one's really important because you can keep claiming this amount until the number of cases in your city are not under control. So until the number of cases in your city continue to grow and expand, you can keep claiming the immunocompromisation if you or your family, one of your family members, is immunocompromised. For this fifth reason here, the senior home, you can claim that also again until a senior home opens up. Now, some people may ask, well, is there any other way I can continue to claim these claims for the full 4 months that they're providing it? Well, if any of these three reasons, if you're self-quarantined, if you have a child, or if you have a senior that you're taking care of, if any of these, or you have a problem, like a health-related problem, then all your issues can defer back to immunocompromisation as a reason for claiming the $2,000 in full for all 4 months, because that will be the number one priority, is protecting yourself and your family from getting infected. Now, that second set of requirement for the second point of eligibility is that the person is eligible for EI or sickness benefits, or a person has exhausted their EI regular benefits between December 29, 2019 and October 3rd, 2020. So for these two reasons, alternatives, you don't need any COVID-19 related reasons as to why you're claiming the CERB. This one you can claim for the 4 months in full, no matter whatsoever, if you don't find a job at all. So even if you continue to not find a job, then you can still continue to claim the CERB for 4 months full. The third point of eligibility for applying for the CERB is that the person should have employment or self-employment income of at least $5,000 in 2019 or in the 12 months prior to the application date. So this $5,000 also includes ineligible dividend income for small businesses or any other individuals. The fourth point and the final point is that the person has not quit their job voluntarily. Now, by the dictionary definition, voluntarily means that you have quit your job by your own will. However, if we go back to the immunocompromisation that we talked about in the second point, if you use that as a reason for quitting your job, you are not quitting your job willingly. You are quitting it because you want to protect either yourself or you want to protect a family member. So there are some interpretations like this that let you get around this term that says voluntarily on the CRA's terms. So the first time that you're claiming the CERB, you have to make sure that the individual has not earned more than $1,000 in income for 14 or more consecutive days within the 4-week period of the claim. So how do you calculate this $1,000 that someone's earned? For an employee, it's just that their payroll is less than $1,000. Simple. For self-employed individuals, all you have to do is take your gross income and deduct the expenses. If it's less than $1,000, then they can still claim the amount. So a good example of this would be, let's say, an Uber driver who makes $1,500 that month, but his expenses were $600. He's still eligible for the CERB because his net income is not more than $1,000. For a dividend, ineligible dividends should be less than $1,000. However, if you take money out of the bank from last month's profits, then it will still be counted as a dividend. So you have to make sure that does not surpass $1,000. However, there is also another scenario where if you are taking money that's being owed to you by a company, then that will not be counted as a dividend. And also if you withdraw money from the bank to pay back a shareholder loan in the next 12 months, then it will also be not counted as a dividend. So the main important aspect in this is in your accounting, do not make sure your profit as a whole, the profit of your company as a whole, is also less than $1,000 alongside the dividend to make sure that this works out. For the subsequent claim submission, so after the first month, the terms are still almost the same. It's that you cannot have earned more than $1,000 income within the 4-week period of the claim. So the terms for claiming are still the same for each of these three people. The payroll should still be less than $1,000 for an employee. The income minus the expenses should be less than $1,000 for a self-employed individual. And for anyone who has a dividend, their income for their business and the dividend that they're getting back should also be less than $1,000. Now, some people ask can I claim the subsequent claim submission, or can I claim for the second or third or fourth month? Well, if you're still confused about that, you can go back to the second step and see all those reasons again. However, there are some questions that are still unanswered here. So there are some people that might be immunocompromised, but they still list that they have a payroll that's less than $1,000. However, these reasons do not match up and cause a problem in your application, because if you're immunocompromised in the first place, then there's no possibility for you to work at all. So if you do list that, then it will cause an error in your application process. So when you are applying for the CERB, make sure your reasons for why you're applying and your subsequent claim submissions actually match up and do not coerce with each other.